We are on Bayou Lafourche, more specifically, South Lafourche. Once you arrive in Larose, Louisiana, you've officially entered Down to Bayou territory, or simply DTB. Larose is characterized by the intersection of Bayou Lafourche to the Intracoastal Waterway, which is an over 1,000-mile canal stretching from Carabel, Florida to Brownsville, Texas, connecting many important waterways along the way for recreational and cargo ships. However, it started as more of a ditch here, and as owners took it over, they would just dredge it and expand the canal. In 1846, Octave Harang purchased this land from Francois Livaudet and constructed a prosperous sugar plantation known as Harang Plantation. Octave then had a ditch dug to connect Bayou Lafourche to Lake Salvador. This opened the door for farmers in the area to ship oranges, sugar, rice, and potatoes to markets in New Orleans. A few owners would dredge the canal to be deeper and wider over the years, but it would still end in Larose and the bayou here until World War II. In order for quicker shipments of oil, the U.S. government dredged across Bayou Lafourche towards Berg and created the iconic cloverleaf image we associate with Larose today. In 1882, a small school was established and the population grew to the point when the first physician set up shop, and his name was Willie Harang. Willie soon convinced a pharmacist friend of his to make his way down from Lockport to permanently live in this new community. The pharmacist was named Joseph Félicien Larose and began to act as the unofficial postmaster for the area. And it's said that when residents received mail, they would just tell the sender to send it to Larose. In 1890, Larose requested permission from the post office to establish an official service in his drugstore, so the name stuck. Joseph Larose was the grandson of Balthazar Martin Larose, who came to Bayou Lafourche by way of Portugal. That's right, originally pronounced La Rosa, most Larose descendants probably don't realize that their ancestors are Portuguese, as early settlers adopted the French pronunciation, which means the rose. Some of these early residents cite the establishment of the Catholic parish as being the main reason for the growth of Larose. The church was called Notre Dame de Saint-Rosaire, but it was destroyed in the hurricane of 1909 and subsequent flooding. Another church was built, and 60 years after its founding was refitted with bricks, and it's now Holy Rosary Catholic Church. By the mid-1920s, electricity finally made its way down the bayou, which was perfect to light the newly built baseball fields where the Larose Tigers played. In 1978, Holy Rosary leased out land to build the Larose Regional Park and Civic Center, where we would play basketball and have recreation, karate classes. It's also the site of an annual French food festival that hosts one of the largest varieties of Louisiana cuisine in any festival, as well as concerts and rides. The 4 bridges that link the cloverleaf of Larose together have had some changes over the years, but one thing has remained constant. Waiting for the Larose Bridge on Louisiana Highway 1 has become a rite of passage for residents down the bayou. Its positioning between 2 large shipyards, it was just destined for the bridge to delay traffic, which also helps local businesses at the bases of the bridge. If you don't catch this bridge while you're down here, then your destination needs to be to a gas station to buy a lottery ticket, unless, of course, you took the other option. Only 30 feet taller than the lift bridge, this overpass was completed 15 years later in 1975. While the lift bridge runs along the famous and historic Louisiana Highway 1, the overpass is part of Highway 308, and it allows you to cross the 150-foot wide Intracoastal Canal with ease. It has a peculiar site at the top, though. The Lafitte-Larose Freeway was proposed in the 1970s and would have linked the 2 communities, but was ultimately canceled due to environmental concerns. But on a clear day, if you look into the horizon towards the east, you can see the New Orleans skyline, Superdome and all. Despite taking over an hour to drive here from the city, Larose in the bayou is only 15 miles as the Pelican flies. Larose is also the birthplace of former LSU head coach Ed Orgeron, but down here he's Bebe or Cocho. Essentially, the story of Larose is intertwined with the connection of the bayou and the canal, and it continues to be a place of Cajun Creole culture and resiliency through these many storms that have hit the area. Larose and other down the bayou towns were utterly devastated following Hurricane Ida. Help and assistance federally was like getting your teeth pulled, but the intense resolve of this community facilitated a massive local recovery effort. Nonprofits such as Bless Your Heart Foundation and DTB Mutual Aid Fund were vital in raising awareness and funding for the storm victims. The community stepped up in the darkest hour, and after a ton of work, Larose is still here and businesses are open, but the storm needs to be a wake-up call to everyone nationwide to preserve the culture and history that we still have here on Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. I'm Crosby, and this is Louisiana Dread.